Every week should be Dental Assistants Recognition Week. Why aren't we doing this 52 weeks out of the year? You dental assistants need to be recognized for what you do every day, every week, every month, and every year. Don't rely on others to find your worth. I want you to know deep down in your heart that you matter. You're the soul of the practice, the backbone of the practice, the heartbeat of the practice. Walk in and know that you're the queens of that place. If we didn't have dental assistants, how would a practice function? And the answer to that is very simply, they wouldn't. So on those days when your tank is empty, what are you doing to make sure that you show up as the champion that you are, the leader that you are, the awesome dental assistant that you are? And reminding yourself of the amazing power that you have inside you every day. You actually have to believe it. Hey everyone, it is Kevin Henry, the founder of Dental Assistant Nation, and welcome back into another edition of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast. Hey, I am so glad you joined us. I'm excited. It is the start of March. So happy March to all of you. You know, I'm a baseball fan. I don't know about any of you, but baseball season officially kicks in this month. It's going to be a good month. You know, we're getting a little closer to spring. I live in Colorado, and I know that I am ready to see the snow start evaporating from where I am and to see that green grass come back. So it's a good month, right? It's a good month also because we know that this month kicks off with Dental Assistants Recognition Week. And so for all of you out there, I want to wish you officially a happy Dental Assistants Recognition Week. I hope it's going to be a great week for you. Now, I am of the opinion, and I posted this on my Instagram. By the way, I hope you're following me at KGHenry23, as well as at Dental Assistant Nation on Instagram. I posted last week this crazy thought that every week should be Dental Assistants Recognition Week. You know, I hate that we set aside 1 week to tell dental assistants how awesome they are. We set aside 1 week to say, thank you for all you do. Why aren't we doing this 52 weeks out of the year? You know, whenever I'm out speaking, this is one of the things that I say quite often is that Dental Assistant Recognition Week is great in and of itself, but it needs to be every week of the year. And that's my goal as the editor-in-chief for Dr. Bicuspid, is to try to push that message out to dentists and the rest of the team that you dental assistants need to be recognized for what you do every day, every week, every month, and every year. We're going to get there at some point. I promise you that. But until we get to that point, let's make the most of this week coming up. Now, I will tell you, I have heard countless times that many of you do get some form of recognition during this week. You know, it's an annual event. It's always the first full week of March. And I know so many of you will get a gift card. You will get some Starbucks. You will get a spa treatment. You will get a small bonus. There will be something that will happen from the office to you saying thank you for all you do as part of Dental Assistant Recognition Week. That is fantastic. But I know deep down, and you've told me this, that not every practice does this. Not every office reaches out during Dental Assistant Recognition Week to tell you how amazing you are. In fact, there are many of you that will tell me it's just another week in your practice. There's no flowers, there's no banner, there's no recognition, there's no gift cards. It's just the first full week of March and let's start working. It's okay. It doesn't mean it's great, trust me, because I think we need to be saying thank you every day. I think that we need to be showing appreciation for each other in the practice every day. But I know that there are days that, including this coming week, when you should be appreciated and you're not. So my goal for this podcast, my goal for this week and every week is that you dental assistants don't rely on others to find your worth. You don't rely on others to actually say you matter. I want you to know deep down in your heart that you matter. I want you to know that you're the soul of the practice, the backbone of the practice, the heartbeat of the practice. You all have heard me say this on countless podcasts, but it matters that you hear me say it again because you actually have to believe it. And it can't be just me telling you that. It's got to be you telling yourself that as well. You know, every morning whenever you get up, how are you preparing for battle that day? How are you preparing yourself to go into the dental practice? I am a big believer in mental strength and mental conditioning just as much as I am you working on your skills in the practice, just as much as you working on your communication in the practice. I think you've got to be working on what you're telling yourself in the practice as well. And if you're going into the practice every day and believing it's going to be a bad day, believing that you're not appreciated, believing that you're that bottom rung on the ladder, the low man on the totem pole, whatever we want to say, then guess what? That's what it's going to be, because what we believe turns into our reality. So we have to take it upon ourselves, dental assistants, to change that mindset and to go into that practice every day believing that we're the rock star, believing that we're the rock, the soul, the heartbeat of the practice. That's up to us. That's up to you, dental assistants, to walk in and know that you're the queens of that place. Now, are you being paid like queens? No, we know that answer, right? Are you being treated like queens? Not often. So often it comes back to you, and how do you view yourself in that mirror whenever you're getting ready that day? Do you see somebody that is confident, somebody that loves what they do, somebody that's ready to tackle the day, or do you see somebody that's already defeated before they ever walk out of the apartment or the house or wherever you might live? So I want to go through 5 things that I think are very important for dental assistants to remember during Dental Assistant Recognition Week. And again, I want you to think about it this week. I want you to think about it this first week of March that we're doing this, but I also want you to think about it the other 51 weeks out of the year, right? Because if you're only lifted up 1 year, or 1 week out of the year, I should say, then what happens those other 51 weeks? You know, I tell the story whenever I'm out speaking of church camp. Did any of you ever go to church camp whenever you were little or growing up? I will tell you, born and raised in Oklahoma, church camp was a rite of passage. Every summer you went away for a week and you were, it was a religious experience, and you were told how that you needed to do certain things in order to come back and really be this warrior for God. And if any of you have been to church camp, you remember that while they definitely wanted you to remember to be a warrior for God, you were more interested in swimming or, chasing members of the opposite sex or whatever it might be, right? That was church camp growing up. But the one thing I remember about church camp, as much as that it was fun and some of my friends were there and we had a great time and did all these things, I remember what it was like coming back from church camp. And I remember thinking about all the things that they told you needed to do to be different. You needed to do to show your faith. All these steps that you could take when you were back in the, quote, real world. And then what happens on Monday? You walk back into your school, you walk back into wherever you are, and that same bully is there. That same feeling of ugh is there. And all that enthusiasm you had during church camp week is suddenly extinguished very quickly because you're back in the real world. I feel that way about Dental Assistants Recognition Week sometimes. I feel like that we have such a focus on dental assistants this week, and then next week what happens? We're back to square one. And who's there saying how great you are? Who's there praising you? For the vast majority of you, it's you. It's you doing this. It's not the doctor. It's not the hygienist. It's not the front desk. It's not anybody else. It's you that has to remember how great that you are. So I'm going to tell you 5 things that I think you should know during Dental Assistants Recognition Week, as well as every week out of the year. So hopefully you're taking some notes. If you're not, the show notes have all this information. So I want to make sure that you know that and that you're always following our show notes, as well as, again, Instagram, Dental Assistant Nation, as well as me personally, KG Henry 23. So let's dive into it. Number 1, you are the backbone of the dental team. Hey, I've already said this, right? I think you have a lot of pieces of anatomy that are you. You're the heartbeat. You're the soul. You're the backbone. Dare I say, sometimes you're the brains of the dental practice because you make everything run so smoothly behind the scenes. You're that air traffic controller, right? Well, I'm not so sure if that's the best analogy to use right now with everything that's going on in the air, but that's a whole other story. We know dentists lead the procedures. We know in so many states it's the dentist that's doing the vast majority of the clinical work, and assistants are there to truly assist. But behind the scenes, you all are the ones that are keeping everything run smoothly. From patient chair to chair side assisting to sterilization, your role is essential. for a well-functioning practice. If we didn't have dental assistants, how would a practice function? And the answer to that is very simply, they wouldn't. So don't ever forget how important your role is, and don't ever forget how vital that you are every day to not only show up, but to show up ready to be the leader that you are. I want to make sure that you listen back to a podcast that we re-released last week with my friend Sean Piers. Sean reminded us about being everyday leaders. And I think it's so important that dental assistants, you embrace the leader that you are in the practice every day. All right, let's go to number 2. Your skills deserve to be celebrated. Hey, you all have such a variety of skills that you bring to the table every day. I will say this, and you've heard me say it, and I'm going to just remind you again. You often are the ones that are talking to the patient about their procedure, and so often they are looking to you for guidance. They're looking to you for clarity. They're looking to you for confidence and to answer their questions. And whenever they say, do I really need that crown? It's your chance to shine. That's a skill. Just as much as anything clinically related, your communication skills, your mental skills, there are so many skills that you bring to that operatory every day and with every patient. So think about all the things that you do on a daily basis. It's a lot, right? You're multitasking. You're helping with patient education. You're doing some scheduling sometimes. You're in charge of the infection control. You're in charge of, making sure that the doctor actually gets from point A to point B sometimes. And when he or she sits down, that there's the right instruments right waiting there, and that they're clean, and that everybody's safe. There's a lot that is stacked upon you all every day. So take this week to acknowledge your hard work. Yeah, I want you to acknowledge your own hard work. Take a minute this week to make a list of everything that you do in the practice and celebrate how well you do it. But also do this. As you make that list and you're looking through all the things that you do on a daily basis, also look through at the things that maybe you could improve upon in 2025. What are those goals that you have for improving who you are in the operatory, and how can that be done? It's a great time for you to talk to your dentist about how you all can work together to make you the best dental assistants that you can be. And hey, you may be at 98% right now. I mean, you may be really close to just being extra awesome, ordinary, 100% dental assistant, super person. But there's still that 2% that you need to improve upon, right? There's always something that we can improve upon. So I want you to think about this week. Celebrate your skills, but also think about what comes next. And that leads me to point number 3. This is a great time to advance your career. The best way to celebrate Dental Assistants Recognition Week is for you, the dental assistant, to recognize that there's more that you can be, to recognize that there are more steps that you can take in your career. This isn't just about appreciation. It should be, but it's also a time for you to set aside that you say, I'm going to level up my career. So how can you do that? Well, like I just mentioned a minute ago, make that list. Think about all the things that you can do with the dentist to improve your skills, where you need to be better clinically, whatever that might be. What does that look like? Consider taking a new course. Maybe, in your state, there's expanded functions out there. Have you ever thought about getting that CDA or that RDA or that EFTA, those initials after your name? Have you ever thought about that? This may be the week to start your quest toward that. Also, I want you to set your goals for the year. If you haven't done that yet, we're way past New Year's resolutions. But I want to make sure that you have goals in place for this coming year. And I also want to make sure that you are sharing those with your doctor so that he or she can be on the same page with you to not only help you keep those goals advancing forward, but also work with you to see how you can accomplish those goals. Look, the worst thing that can happen is that you have goals for the year and you keep them a complete secret, because then nobody's there to help you advance and to make sure that you are moving forward with accomplishing those goals. How about point number 4? This is a big one, guys. Self-care matters. Yes, I want you to take time for you this week. I want you, if we're going to celebrate you as a dental assistant, then we need to celebrate all aspects of the dental assistant. Let's face it. Dental assisting is a fast-paced, physically demanding job. I know when you go home and you're wiped out. You're wiped out mentally, a lot of times physically. You've got those aches and pains. By the way, If you have aches and pains, go back and listen to some of our episodes on ergonomics that we have in the Dental Assistant Nation library, past episodes. Well worth your time, I believe. So this week, whenever we're saying Dental Assistants Recognition Week is a big week, right? Prioritize yourself. Prioritize your mental health. Make sure you're stretching. Consciously take moments for yourself. Take some breaks, some mental breaks along the day to make sure that you're always the best that you can be, not only for your coworkers, but for your patients as well. And celebrate every win that you have this week, whether it's big or small, whatever it is. Make sure that you're celebrating something so that every day you feel like you've checked another box and you've taken another step forward. Because again, mental is just as important as physical, if not more, on so many occasions. And number 5, I hope you remember this, but this week you will make a difference in somebody's life. Yeah, you do that every day. And I think so often in the hectic schedule and trying to make sure that rooms are turned over and, is Mrs. Jones late? Oh gosh, she's got to go to the bathroom now. All these things that happen during the day. I think we forget so often that we make a difference in patients' lives, dental assistants. And so I want you to always remind yourself of that. Whether it's calming an anxious patient, whether it's ensuring that it's a smooth visit, whether it's answering all the questions that a patient may have after a doctor leaves the room, you make a big difference in patients' lives. You create a positive dental experience every day. Now, I want that to sink in for just a minute. You create a positive dental experience for that patient every day. They rely on you. They trust you. They believe in you. They want to hear your opinion. So don't be afraid. Don't be that person in the corner just saying, I'm just here to do my job and move on. No. Take control of the situation. Make sure that you are answering any questions, that you're alleviating any fears. You're doing everything you can to make sure that patient knows that they are special and they're being listened to. Your compassion, your expertise, what you do every day changes people's lives one smile at a time, one tooth at a time. Never forget that, my friend. So, hey, those are 5 things that I think you should be doing this week. But again, dare I say, I think we should be doing those every week because dental assistants, let's be honest, so often it's going to take us, you, reminding yourself of the role that you play every day. It's going to take you finding that inspiration to be excited about going into work. Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to be fantastic. So on those days when your tank is empty, what are you doing to make sure that you show up as the champion that you are, the leader that you are, the awesome dental assistant that you are? And again, if nobody has told you this week, or even if they have, thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Dental Assistant Recognition Week is a very special week, but I want to make sure that we are recognizing ourselves and that the profession is recognizing dental assistants every day, every week, every month of every year. That's my goal here at Dental Assistant Nation. It's my goal whenever I'm out speaking. If you're going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia at the Pacific Dental Conference, I hope I will see you there. I will be there later this week. A great way to finish up Dental Assistant Recognition Week. I'm also planning ahead for state meetings in Oklahoma, Montana, and at the Star of the North. So if you're going to be at any of those meetings, I cannot wait to see you. We're going to have a great time. I promise you that. But hey, let's focus on today. Let's focus on what you can do to be the amazing dental assistant that you are. And again, you don't have to go this road alone. If there are things that you need in your life to help you be a better dental assistant, don't be afraid to have that conversation with your doctor or somebody else in the practice that can help make sure you're on the right path. And if you don't know how to have those conversations, well, gosh, we've got a lot of episodes of Dental Assistant Nation that talk about confidence and skills and everything else. But if you need something pointed in the right direction, or you need to know exactly which way to go, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you with that. Kevin@kevinspeaksdental.com is my email address. I will always be ready to help dental assistants be reminded of how amazing you are. And yes, thank you for all you do. And thank you for listening to this episode of the Dental Assistant Nation podcast.
Join us at CE on the Beach, June 26th to 28th, 2025, at the stunning Westin Grand Cayman Resort and Spa. This is the ultimate destination event for dentists, teams, coaches, and speakers. Save your spot now and get $150 off with promo code KHENRY. Visit ceonthebeach.com to register today.
I feel like I could go on for hours reminding you how important you are, but at some point I've got to log off of here, and I've got to trust you that you're going to be the one reminding yourself of the amazing power that you have inside you every day. So until next time, it is Kevin Henry, the founder of Dental Assistant Nation, host of this podcast, editor-in-chief for Dr. Bicuspid, and as always, I am wishing you nothing but success ahead.